Satya!
Yes!
I don't know where she got the singing thing. I'm not singing. In fact, I almost blew it right off the bat and came out here and said, ladies and gentlemen, Mia Satya, right? But then she told me a couple weeks ago, she said, Daphne, you can't say ladies and gentlemen anymore. And I was like, what do you mean, why not? And she's like, because it reinforces the gender binary.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense. So what do I say now? And she's like, you say folks. Now I'm 43, I'm 43 years old, right? I'm a little bit old school, right? I'm used to like, ladies and gentlemen, versus folks. I was like, that doesn't really work. There's got to be a better solution than that. So I came up, this isn't even really comedy. I actually just love saying this on stage with a microphone. Ready? Here goes. Ladies, etc. Right? So, thank you. So I've got my notes up here because I prepared 15 minutes of material and then found out when I got here that I have 5 minutes. So since I'm from the East Coast, I'm going to talk 3 times and fast and try and shove as much comedy down your throat as I can in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Put away your cameras, chill out. I am a unicorn. I am, in fact, a bisexual trans woman. Just kidding about the cameras. Take the pictures. So you know what that means, right? As a bisexual trans woman, you know what that means? That means I'm not getting twice as much sex as the rest of you. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm just that good. No, it's gotten pretty bad. It's bad enough now that I've renamed my dick Matters. Yeah, just because now I have to take matters into my own hands. It's really, yeah, you get it. It's nice, right? It's really hard being single. Everybody these days, you know, you go out, you get on your OkCupid or your Tinder, or your Grindr, Christian Mingle, or whatever your thing is. I really kind of like Christian Mingle. I feel like they have the wrong slogan though. Their slogan should be ChristianMingle.com. Who would Jesus do? That would be amazing. I don't do dating apps though. Instead, I just make doctor's appointments. Right? Because it's nice. It's pretty guaranteed. You go in, you know you're gonna see a guy. It's fantastic, right? So, and you know you got to go back for the test results. So, second date, right? It's very nice. I think they've caught on a little bit though because they left me a voice message this week that was like, Ms. Dorman, please stop scheduling doctor's appointments weekly for prostate exams. And Dr. Miller is once again requesting that you keep the moaning to a minimum. You're starting to scare the other patients and a few of the animals in the neighborhood. I'm not sure if it's like the abundance of my doctor's appointments though, or if it's like actually Dr. Miller was a little upset. I'm a little bit empathic. So the last time I was in there, I don't know, there was just something in his tone and the way he said, stop calling me daddy. I was like, so I haven't always been single though, right? My ex broke up with me about 4 years ago, right around the time I came out. The math is always a little bit sketchy there though, because I came out hokey pokey style. You know, I put my right leg out, and I put my right leg in, and I put my left leg out, my left leg in. But once I put my whole body out, I was out! And I've been pretty much out ever since, but that didn't really work for my ex, and that's okay. I wasn't so much interested in having a dick, and she was very interested in being one. We all have our thing. It's all good. Thankfully, I live here in San Francisco, right? So I'm surrounded by a lot of very smart, very wise people, and they told me right up front, they said, Daphne, don't worry about it, here's what you gotta do. You gotta get back in touch with yourself. You've gotta go do the meditation and the hot yoga. And I'm like, okay, so I did the meditation, I did the yoga, and they're like, no, you know what, you gotta get back in touch with nature. Go do some hiking and some biking. So I did the hiking and the biking. And they're like, no, you know what you gotta do, you gotta cleanse yourself. Go eat some granola and drink some kombucha. So I ate the granola. But I drew the line at the moldy gasoline. But I feel very much so like kombucha was just invented by like some bachelor who never cleaned his apartment, and then his girlfriend came over and was like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, oh, it's kombucha, it's delicious, go ahead, try it. And she did, right? Well, that's okay. I'm glad they gave me all that advice and that I did all that processing, and I did. I spent all the time and I worked through it. And you know what I realized? Like once I was back in touch with the universe and connected to the cosmos, you know what I realized? My ex is a total bitch. I'm glad I spent that time and like focused on all of that. It was really good to do. And by the way, I don't know if anybody here has come out. I know it's kind of unusual in San Francisco, but coming out was interesting. You know what I realized? Coming out is really nothing more than an excuse for everybody in your life to come and tell you what they think about you coming out, right? That's how it goes. I boiled it down, there's 3 types of people though, right? Most people in the world are what I call it gaps. I don't give a fuck. They really don't. Most people don't care, right? You're like, I'm transgender, and they're like, I have a bunion, pass the peanuts. They really just don't give a shit, right? But then there's like there's the supportive people. But, you know, like the overly supportive people, like every time they see a transgender person, Sarah McLachlan's in the arms of an angel starts to play in the background. It's not that bad, it's not that bad, right? I don't live in Mississippi, I live in San Francisco, right? I'm basically free-range trans. I'm like cage-free, organic trans. I was gonna say no hormones added, no fillers added, but we know that's a lie. And I'm pretty sure it's a lie with the chickens too. That's just how that goes, right? And then there's like you swing that pendulum far in the other direction, right? You've got those like crazy religious conservative types, and they're like, Jesus died on the cross for your sins, Jesus died on the cross for your sins. And I'm like, Jesus was a little bit of a drama queen then, wasn't he? I mean, like a note from my doctor would have sufficed, right? Very straightforward, would have been very simple. But people really do, they get very bent out of shape about the whole transgender thing. Maybe it's because I'm kind of visibly transgender, but I'll give you a really good example. I was at Denny's this one time and this guy came over, he marched right over to my table and he shoved his finger right in my face. He was like, you're a faggot, you're a tranny, I'm gonna kick your ass, blah, blah, blah. Now that's a no-win situation for him right off the bat, isn't it? Because he thinks of me as like a girly, weak sissy. So if you kick my ass, it's not really a high benchmark, is it? Like, that's a low hurdle, right? But think about the opposite. What if I got lucky and I kicked your ass? If that's your benchmark for macho, honey, you are never getting laid again. Right? But no, he did. He was in my face, he was like shoving his finger, and then he spit right in my spaghetti, right? And I'll tell you, this is the difference between cisgender people and transgender people. All of my cisgender people, they get like the Sarah McLachlan thing in the back of the head. And they're like, I'm so sorry, Daphne, I can't believe that happens to you here in the Bay Area. That's so crazy, I'm so sorry. Then I tell my transgender friends that, and they go, bitch, who the fuck orders spaghetti at Denny's? You know, I was telling a friend of mine who was kind of new to San Francisco, I was telling her that story, and she was like, where is there a Denny's? Like, it's right around the corner from my house. And I swear to God, she said this. She was like, is the food good there? Like, who the fuck is going to Denny's for a culinary experience? You go to Denny's to fill a hole in your life. It's basically drunk church. That's really what Denny's is, right? It's so terrible. So it's a little bit tough. It's tough to be kind of a minority and trans person or whatever here in San Francisco, but I've discovered a couple perks. One of my favorite things to do, we live in this really troublesome political climate now, you know what I do? Is I go to these hardcore conservative political rallies, and then I stand in the back and I wait for somebody to come up to me, and they're like, what are you doing here? And then I just point to the candidate, and I'm like, I'm here to support my boyfriend. Yes. And then I hold up my sign, and it's like, Jeff, why don't you call me anymore? I still love you. But, you know, we do that, don't we, with the whole calling thing, right? Like, call me. But we know we'd be freaked out if somebody actually telephoned us. Like, who fucking calls anymore? I'm like, that's so weird. Why don't you just send me a dick pic like a normal person? Oh, it's so crazy. But it's nice. It's good to be able to take the time out to do those sort of things, right? Anyway, I know I'm being a little bit hard on the people who are supportive, but I actually really do like it when people are supportive and complimentary to me, right? But not if you're like, Daphne, you're pretty. Pretty is subjective, right? Who cares about that, right? I like it when they compliment me for a skill. When they're like, Daphne, your makeup is really on point today. Or Daphne, I love your hair. Or Daphne, you dress like a hooker. And I'm like, well, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Because the job I have is software engineer. I'm waiting for the booze, because I know it's San Francisco, right? In San Francisco, we're not always super great about the tech people, right? Basically, tech people are to San Francisco what Mexicans are to Republicans. Is it too soon for that one? Too soon? It's the same reaction. It's the same reaction. They're destroying the culture. They're taking all the good jobs, right? It's so great. But we live in this political climate. It's good for us to have hope. And so I want to share with you all tonight my definition of hope. So a few weeks ago, there was this Chinese space station. The Chinese had lost control of it, and it was going to crash back into the planet, right? And I was a little worried, and then I saw on the news, they said, don't worry, because it's only 1 in a million chance that this space station doesn't just burn up in the atmosphere, right? The 1 in a million chance that it actually hits the planet somewhere. And then don't worry, because it's only 1 in a billion chance that this thing could actually crash into someplace populated. And it's only 1 in a trillion. 1 in 1 trillion chance that some part of this space station actually strikes a person. And I thought to myself, that means that there is a 1 in 1 trillion chance that this fiery hunk of space metal could plummet back to our planet and crush my ex. And that's the definition of hope.
Give it up for Daphne Dorman! So our next artist